Now, what I'm about to do is talk a little bit more about the ideals of youth development. And quite frankly, I probably won't be telling you anything that you haven't heard before. But some of you have gleaned from my background that I've been involved in sports in various capacities for a long time. And I've been involved in highly organized sports as well as grassroots efforts, and most often to provide opportunities for youth. The nonprofit organization that I founded about 14 years ago is a testament to my continued loyalty to community work in St. Paul and Minneapolis. In addition to my previous roles as an administrator and a youth coach, I've completed a various amount of sports in my lifetime and currently train and mentor young athletes in all walks of life. I remember many of the activities and experiences that I cherished as a youth growing up. There were the ones that were really organized by us, by my peers and friends. We played every sport we had access to and had equipment for. We rarely had adult interference and created our own rules, chose our own places to play, decided our own playing time. We even had our own referees and scorekeepers. There were no age limits. We played on merit and skill. And if you didn't want to play, you had less friends. Consequently, everyone who participated had to in some way. Yet the hierarchy and power of our social group was built on who had the best sports skills and who had the best equipment, especially if you had the only ball in the neighborhood. It was a simpler time then. You know, very little cable TV. We only had 4 channels in Columbia, Missouri when I was growing up. No cell phones, computers, internet. I know some of you are old enough to remember when we didn't have those things. No books on tape. You know, our world was really, as youth, to be outside. We participated because we wanted to, and we wanted to belong to a group. We wanted to have fun, and it was the almost exciting thing to do at the time. It appears that youth today are not allowed to experience free play as much as we could, but they develop in similar ways. On their youth teams, at the parks, schools, fitness centers, and other social service agencies such as Hospitality House. These are examples of the support and vitality of physical activity and learning that our communities value so much. I believe the concept of play is the foundation of a child's future. It does not matter when this social practice takes place. According to the International Play Association, a group supported by the United Nations and an advocate for a child's right to play, says play is vital to a child's development of potential. Play is communicative, it's instinctive, it's expressive, it's voluntary, and it's spontaneous. It minimizes the negative exposure children may have to violence, exploitation, and unhealthy competition in sports. Play is part of improving the health and welfare of our youth regardless of age. It is certainly part of our community's educational process. Even in our schools, where the pressure to really maximize every minute of the day toward academic success, it can still foster creatively and social skills for all of the exercises that they partake in, not just physical exercise. Undirected play often leads to the development of confidence and conflict resolution and negotiation and leadership skills. Young people are often able to demonstrate what I believe are 2 major broad developmental outcomes, which result in having a positive identity about themselves and an increased ability to compete and be successful in all areas of life. Through physical activity, youth achieve a sense of personal well-being and a sense of connection and commitment to others. Some of those aspects of identity and self-concept include what I think are the most important aspects are living in a safe environment, acquiring a feeling of self-worth, valuing relationships and being valued by others, taking responsibility and having respect for others, feeling that one is unique and can express their own ideas, and having a sense that one has the ability to learn, accomplish goals, and contribute back to their community when they're old enough. I can point to a time when I first achieved the motivation to learn. I will never forget this time because the light finally went on for me, and I finally got it. As I look back, what motivated me to, for instance, like reading and writing, it was simply that I found something that I was interested in. I believe it's so important to be an advocate for the holistic training approach by connecting all aspects of well-being. This creates an expanded awareness for youth development, I believe. Our staff and volunteers that serve my foundation expound on these qualities of character through leadership programming, sports skills clinics, and life skills presentations. For example, we talk about the concept of teamwork. We attempt to define it by giving examples in sports, but we are limiting in our impact if we just concentrate on sports. We have to provide non-sport examples of teamwork. There are other domains in which you should value teamwork. At home, for instance, a child is part of a group of people and may have a role that significantly contributes to the functioning of that family. It may be that they have to wash the dishes, you have to set up the table for dinner, or even go to bed at some time. It may ultimately help the other members that live in that home more effectively achieve their own responsibilities. We also give examples of how people are involved in teamwork at school and in the community. In this example, youth need to know, however, how important it is to the family that they do their part. Our staff also introduces other concepts such as communication skills and giving examples of how it works effectively in sport and also in physical education. We can also ask students to give examples of how it works in class, at home, or when they're out with friends out in the community. In addition, it's important for youth to understand that one needs to be a good listener in order to be able to communicate well. And adults, we can learn a little bit about that too. We can set a good example by being able to listen to our youth more effectively. So when youth are able to demonstrate certain human abilities, they're able to develop greater physical and mental health capabilities that would lead them to respond and cope with positive and adverse situations. They're able to acquire motivation to learn, plan, solve problems, and make decisions on their own. They can take responsibility for their own actions, as well as respect the opinions and needs of others.